Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Twist Gaming. We are here live giving you great convention coverage of Origins 2018 in lovely Columbus, Ohio. And I have the pleasure of sitting here with Bobby West from HABA, who is here to show us off some of their really cool board games. So, Bobby, what have you brought for me today?
Yeah, so this is Dragon's Breath. It just won the Kinderspiel, which is the German children's game of the year, just announced on Tuesday, so we're really excited about that. And it is a sort of a collection game.
Okay.
So we're all baby dragons. We've come across this ice column filled with these sparkly crystals, and we want them.
This is such a good day for me. There's so many
So many
dragons. It makes
yeah.
me so happy.
So we obviously want to melt these rings to collect these gems.
Yes.
So we can't breathe fire as we're still in small children dragons, so we call in our father, and he'll breathe the fire for us. So each round we're going to choose one of these colored gems up front here,
Okay.
and this signifies what you think is going to fall off the tower when the ring melts. So, if you think yellow and I think red, I will then lift the top ring up and have all the gems fall onto the board. So then we would collect whatever our color was,
Okay.
and it goes into the cave behind our little character.
Little baby dragon. And I'm just going to point out the little purple awesome dragon there. That was a very good setup way to give me the yellow one, or the purple dragon. Oh no!
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
So
I mean,
then,
if children can do it, then I should be able to get it on the board, right?
so then anything that nobody chose just gets placed down into these holes in here.
Okay.
And stuff might fall into those holes normally if they're just gone from the game. We kind of consider that his gems because he's coming to help us, so they're sort of our dad's gems at the end of the game.
Fair enough.
So we would reset and we do another round. Start player would pass to you.
Okay.
You get to be able to select what gems you want to take.
Purple, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. And I think I'll take green this round.
Okay.
And then you get to lift that top ring up and breathe the fire.
I mean, if we're gonna...
So you get to take all the purple. I get to take all the green.
I see a purple right down in my little
There's
dungeon.
two
Oh, two!
there. Green over here. And then everything else just gets put down the hole, and this goes away. So we would go back and forth like that. So this is the regular way to play the game. For two players, we would actually draft each other. So
Okay.
I would give you one, you'd give me one, and we do that twice, so we both would get two colored gems.
Okay.
But the game ends once all of the ice column has been melted, and you actually will lift the game board up.
Look,
And
can we
everybody
talk a moment
has-
how impressed I was that you did not knock
I've
off
been
any
practicing.
of the gems?
I've been practicing all week here for that. So then you just count whatever was in your cave in the corner. Whoever has the most gems wins.
Oh, very cute.
So you can also play a little younger if the decision of what's going to fall is a little too complicated. You can just give one color to the child, and that's theirs for the whole game. So I take green, mine's green. I'm not changing that. That's fine. And you can also play with these face down, so that way when I take one secretly, you don't know what I've chosen.
Oh, to make it a little bit more...
That's a little bit more advanced. Yeah, it doesn't change the game too much, but now you're not sure, did he pick purple, did he pick... So that's another interesting way to play it.
I love this.
So it's 2 to 4 players, 5 and up. Plays in about 10 minutes or so.
Absolutely incredibly cute. Now, you said that you have them here at Origins.
Yeah, we air freighted in 100 from Germany because we've been out of it in our New York warehouse, so it's been doing really well.
I mean, it's the game of the year, so
yeah, kids game
of the year, the Kinderspiel. So that means something. That you've got a really great game on your hands.
Yeah.
Where can, if I'm not here at Origins, and I think this is a great game for my kids,
Yep.
where am I going to pick up the game?
HABA USA is our North American website. Your local game stores should have it. They might be sold out though. I know a lot of the distribution is sold out at the moment too.
Okay.
But local game stores, it's in regular distribution for them. So as long as it's in stock for the distributor, it should be in stock for the retailer. And Amazon.com is another good place to find it. We sell on there. So if we don't have any on our website, you can't find any in your store, Amazon might have some too. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, this is not the only game that you've brought to show me.
No, it's not.
I love those things.
So
I love when people bring
move-
lots and lots of
move
presents.
this. We're switching gears a little bit here.
Okay.
So Konex is our abstract strategy card game.
Okay. Pieces.
So the basics of this game is that you're going to be having a hand of cards,
Okay.
and you're trying to find matching colored corners to be able to splay the card out onto the table. So if I make a matching colored corner, I would score that many points, so we would both have our score marker there. So let's say you played that, you'd move 4 spaces ahead. Goal of the game is to try to get to the target.
Oh, that's interesting.
So some of the more interesting things to do here is if you play a card that has a action symbol on it, so in this case it's the dice, you'd still score your regular 2 points, but you'd also get to roll this.
Okay.
So 2 of these sides is card draw, because you don't natively draw cards. Your turn is to just play a card or draw 2.
Okay.
So having this dice card draw action is nice because you don't have to burn part of your turn to do that. This gives you a ×2, so you could use that to times whatever the corner was that you made, so 4 points.
Okay.
And then the lightning bolt lets you remove a card from the board and make everybody else discard a card.
Ooh.
So that's an interesting one to have. These are interesting because you get them when you roll the die, but you don't get to use them until next turn. So if you also played a action card with a dice on it and rolled this, you'd steal it from me. So we always have to wait a turn to be able to use it. So when to play these, how to play them, when to use them, it's very interesting, and it's definitely a little bit more strategic than most of the HABA games out there. You're only limited to the table size, so you can continue to play on all these corners, build out, but once you get to a table edge, you can't go farther than that. You also can't overlap cards, so if I was to play a card here somehow, I couldn't cover multiple cards when I was doing that.
Okay.
But as long as you're able to place the card on the edge, place it and score your points.
Go where you go.
Yep.
All right. What is the average playtime for a game like this?
10-15 minutes or so.
That's fairly quick.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick game. Like I said, there's some interesting strategy with when to play the action cards. This is just a flat bonus of 2. So if you play that
card for that.
if you play that on your your purple corner, you'd get 5 plus 2 points for the card that you played on. Everything else is just the dice that you have. So there's only very, very simple iconography, either dice or the +2 for the card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Who's the market for this kind of game? Is this kind of like you're looking for a filler game? Or are you looking for?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a filler travel game. HABA plays down to 2, so we're sort of building up the middle market of going from 2 years old to a little bit more advanced strategy. This is for 8 and up, but I really think probably plays like 6 or up, because the iconography is nice and simple, gameplay is nice and simple, but we want to bridge that gap between something like Karuba or a Quazu that we have out as our more advanced strategy game, and something like my very first games. We're trying to fill that middle in with those kind of games. But I think this is a great travel game. It doesn't take up that much space. It's just a deck of cards and a board and some dice. So.
And how do I get my hands on Conex if this is something that I really want?
Currently available, so HABA USA, your local game stores will have it. It's here at the show. It's probably at most of the shows this year that you'll go to. Online, Amazon, your regular outlets that you have it. It's widely available currently.
Price point?
$18.
Oh, that's nice.
Two to 4 players. Plays about 10 minutes or so.
Sounds good. Now you have one more present for me.
Yes. And this one's exciting. This is one of my favorite new releases.
Okay.
So this is.
So then we're really in for a treat.
So this is Karuba the card game.
Okay.
So Karuba is the proclaimed one of the great new HABA games that's come out by Rudy Gordon, the pathfinding game. And this is the card version of it. The reason I like it is because it adds direct player interaction. So we both have a deck of cards.
Okay.
And this is every card in the game for reference. So much like regular Karuba, you're trying to get the adventurer of a color making a continuous path to her temple.
Okay.
So at the end of the game, if I have this, if she can make it to her temple, I'll get 3 points.
Okay.
So how the game is played is we'll both shuffle our decks.
Obviously one of us has been doing this a lot longer than the other one.
We're going to draw 3 cards.
Okay.
And then you're going to pick 2 to play.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
So what's important here is that the sum of the 2 cards that I play and sum of the 2 cards that you play, whoever has the lowest is not going to get to play one of those 2 cards. So that's where this becomes important, especially later in the game. You can see what people have played.
Okay.
So if you played a 20 and I played a 10, you're going to get to play both the cards you choose. I'm only going to get to play one of the 2 cards that I choose.
Okay.
So the card you're not picking gets set off to the side.
Okay.
The 2 that you want to play go face up. So I have a 9. So you beat me. So we're adding our 2 cards together.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to discard one of my 2 cards, and you get to play both of your cards.
Okay.
So I'm going to discard my 4 and play my 5.
Okay, so then I'm just putting, how am I arranging
Yep.
these cards?
So you're going to make a 4x4 grid.
Okay.
They can go any way that you'd like them to. They just can't go diagonal. So
Uh,
dead ending something into the path is fine. You
Yeah.
just obviously can't move into there.
I don't know if I picked the right card, guys.
And each temple has a cardinal direction that it's going into. So your green guy is eventually going to have to come in from this side.
Okay.
Because there's no paths going there. I can only play my one lonely 5 because I had to discard.
At least you don't have any dead ends there, Bobby. And then where's
You
it
can place it
go?
under.
All right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. Okay. All right. So what do we do next?
So then you're going to take the card that you didn't play
Yes.
and then draw 2 more cards back up to 3. So this card you get to save. So if it, if it was another temple or if it was a 1 that you really wanted but didn't think you'd get to play at the moment because you have to discard it,
Right.
you could sort of save it from round to round.
Okay. All
so
right.
then you're going to pick 2 cards again, play them.
Those are my 2 cards.
So
8 and 7.
You're going to beat me again, so I'm going to have to discard. So this is where it becomes interesting. This is a very versatile card for me, but it's also second lowest number in the game.
Yeah.
And this is just straight, so I'm probably going to get rid of this.
Okay.
I'm going to probably play that like that.
All right. I think I'm gonna.
So once you establish 4 in one direction, you can't go further in that direction.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I can turn them, right?
Nope, so the numbers
Must
have to
be?
face you true. Yeah, you can't have rotated numbers.
Okay. So this has got to go here, I think. I don't know.
So then again, you're going to take the 1 card and draw it
Yeah.
back up to 3. So you've drawn one of your temples. I haven't drawn any temple. Nobody's drawn an adventurer. So there's a lot of variation in the game, especially from regular Kruba where you're just drawing 1 tile and everybody's playing that 1 tile. So I find that a very interesting part of the game as well.
This is not happy. Okay.
Okay. I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
All right.
And you've beaten me again. I'm eventually going to get to play. So again, here it's interesting. I have to discard a card. I can either discard a temple, which is going to lose me points, or an adventurer, which will lose me points too, because I'm not going to be able to get to those things. So
We both played the temple and the adventure.
Right, you just played the higher combinations. But now I know that you've played both of those plus that, so I can again look at this reference and see what you have left in your deck to know that if I want to try and play higher than your possible highest card. So I eventually could play 2 cards in a turn.
Okay.
So I'm going to place this here and discard that.
I think I'm gonna. I just have to connect him to the temple.
Correct.
So then if I put him here, he's connected to the
He
temple.
is. The only thing is though, the adventurers can't cross each other's paths. So like, let's say you had that there, he wouldn't be able to go up. He could go down and around, but the blue guy wouldn't be able to go around his temple. So yeah, you place that there. He's in the temple. So when the game ends, this would be worth 3 points plus an additional point because you walked over a crystal.
Okay, so I'm gonna go this way. Look, you're looking over my shoulder, and I know you have commentary.
You get to play both.
Oh
of them.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So again, what with this temple?
No, he
He's
has to
gotta
go
go to
to
the
his
same-
green. Yep.
You're
Green to
colorblind.
Yeah, green. All the colors are going to their color temple.
Okay. Well, this is why I can't take you anywhere. Yes. Okay. All right. So he's gonna go there.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So the game ends when we have played all the cards.
Okay.
We'll just score. So every adventurer that can make it to their temple gets 3 points.
He brought dragons. He's cutting the game off when I'm ahead. This is one of my new favorite guests.
For every crystal, you get an extra point. For every gold, you get 2 extra points. So if you had your orange guy here, he would get 3, 4, 5, 6 points.
Okay.
And again, the adventurers just can't cross over each other, so there's a little
So
bit
as
of
long
pre-planning.
as you have an alternate route,
Yep.
then that's fine.
And if you established, this isn't yours, but if you established that 4, you obviously couldn't put a 5th here or a 5th
Right.
there, so you're locked yourself into that 4 being that distance.
So I can see this. I was kind of playing a game similar to this a little bit earlier this morning. So I guess this is one of those games where the strategy really changes toward the end of already building your paths.
Yeah, well, and like I drew a lot of path cards early, so I wasn't going to get to play 2 cards, so I kind of have to take that into account, knowing that you had all your high numbers out early, so you're probably not going to get to play a lot of cards at the end of the game. So I had to make that tough decision about, do I want to get rid of a temple or get rid of a guy? As you go through, you might not be able to play these 4-way connectors because I'm going to have my temples and guys out. So it's always sort of a balance of what's been played, what's coming up, what I think I can play. Yeah. And it plays up to 6 out of the box, which is pretty unusual, I think, for a card game of this size. Regular Kruba just plays 4 out of the box. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, 2 to 6 players, 15-ish minutes. We're taking simultaneous action, so it goes pretty quick.
I like it. And it was very easy to pick up.
Yes. Yeah.
So any other news that HABA has coming down the pipeline?
No, we released 19 new titles spring, so
Wow.
spring and summer. So we're just, spreading those out for the convention season and for retail. We don't have any Gen Con announcements just yet. We're working on something, so that might be down the pipe. But all of those 19 new titles should be in stores, online, at conventions. So look for those.
Awesome. Well, Bobby, thank you very much
Yeah,
for
it
your
was a
time. I
pleasure. Thank you.
appreciate you
Yeah,
coming on.
yeah.
And we will say adieu.
Bye.